Hello, hello. I'm so glad that I at least got a little something from someone letting me know. I'm trying to figure out, I feel like a movie camera is on me and all the lights and everything. So I'm pretty bright tonight, pretty bright. All right, so I've got some raised hands and you guys are cracking me up because one of the things was, and you'll see when I start going through this, that I was supposed to disable the chat. So Lori, yes, you see me. And thank you for letting me know. You can see, we can see you. Can you hear or see me? No. No, so that's part of this webinar is that no one is able to see or actually hear one another because of what it is that we're doing. I really wanted it to be more private. And so I'm not able to, I'm not having anybody with, well, I wasn't supposed to have anybody be able to chat, but Laura, you got right through there. And so I am actually going to present some things to you, and I'll wait because I see that not everyone is actually here yet. And when we get started, you'll be able to see basically how we're going to do this. I want to give you information to start and then actually go on from there. And when we do the recording, I'm probably going to shut my camera off as well because, again, I just want you to be able to all relax and really enjoy the energy rebalancing session. So since we are actually waiting for people to arrive, I've got some raised hands. Let's see if I can do this. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh my, everybody wants to talk. So here we go. Lori, I am going to allow you to talk and you just need to unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello, Lori.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Thanks for giving me the heads up that people could see and hear me.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite, and I'm looking forward to this energy rebalance, and I'm sure we all could use it right about now.
Yeah, well, you know, that's how I'm feeling as well. So thanks so much for taking the time to join me. This was a total last minute thing.
Appreciate it.
All right, hope you enjoy it. Give me some feedback after.
You got it.
All right, thanks. All right, Robin, unmute and you can chat.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. How are you, Robin?
I'm fine. Thank you for doing this.
You are so welcome. Thanks for attending.
This is a really great time. My dog has to have surgery tomorrow and I'm like wound up like a top. So this is good timing.
Perfect. All right. Well, hope you enjoy. Same thing with Lori. Give me some feedback at the end.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Robin. All right. So, Lori, if you want to unraise your hand, and Robin, same with you. And I don't see any more hand raises. So let me see. I have a couple more that we're waiting to attend. So I am going to hold off because I know we're a little bit, well, we're actually on time. So I will get started, and you'll have to bear with me. This is one of my first webinars that has more people this time. So that's a really great thing. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. All right, here we go. Hopefully you can see this. And I will get started. So this is what a lot of you saw today. Need an energy reboot. And honestly, this morning I got up thinking it was going to be a day to see clients only. And as I was doing my morning check-in, I got very clearly that I needed to do a webinar, and I had no idea what webinar I was going to do. So those of you who know me know my life, and I just have to kind of go with it. And so I decided, okay, I'll check in. And what it was I had talked about doing an energy rebalancing webinar with a group of people, but I hadn't done it yet. And that's exactly what it was. So I thought, okay, here we go. And I was so impressed with the amount of people who actually have shown up because, again, last minute. So I want to take some time in the beginning just to give you guys an idea of what this is going to be about and to get you prepared so that when we actually do the energy rebalancing session, you're able to just relax into it and not wonder what's going on, what are we doing, what should I be feeling, should I be feeling anything? So moving on, welcome. I'm going to start to have you get into a comfortable position, and that can be laying down, it can be sitting down, it can be anything that you are comfortable doing at this point. It can be in a room where you're by yourself, a room with others, but as you're getting ready, I'm going to give you a couple little tips about what to look toward. So starting out with technology. You will see me and you will hear me, but you weren't supposed to be able to speak with me or others on the webinar. And as I explained, I thought the Q&A and chat features were going to be off for this, but it was perfect. It helped me out. And the reason why I did that was because, again, when we get going, I really want it to be more peaceful and without having to, I know for me, I get distracted with the chats and all that good stuff. So the other thing is a little bit about my method. And so what we're going to do tonight, there are core issue identification energy rebalancing sessions, but tonight is going to be a regular session because it's just too hard to do core issues with a group of people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by clearing out energies that you've taken on from other people. They don't need to be there. And oftentimes when we're with others, we'll notice that we're starting to kind of take on their energy, and you know, maybe you're grouchy when you weren't, and you kind of moved in with someone in their energy space, and then you found, boy, I'm kind of grouchy now. So we tend to take on other people's energy. So I'm clearing all of that out for the next piece, because then I'm going to do an energetic scan on 3 layers. So I want to be able to check and see what's happening with you on a physical layer, what's happening with you on a mental emotional layer, and then what's happening with you on a spiritual layer. And again, when I'm doing it one-on-one, it's a little bit different. So tonight is going to be a little bit different, but I'm going to get more of a group read of what the physical layers are, what the mental emotional layers are, and what the spiritual layers are. And then I'm going to do a clearing and a redirection of the 10 energy zones. So basically, I'll be showing you a little bit about what those are, but there are 5 on each side of the body that I work with. And anytime there's any stress or any trauma, which stress is a trauma, what tends to happen is those energy zones sort of shut down in a protective mode. And then what happens is when the trauma is over, our energy system doesn't quite go back to what it was. And so we don't feel like we were, you know, maybe we were sick and we never really got back to what we were before we were sick, or maybe we had an injury and it's okay now, but it's not quite what it was. Those are usually things that tell me there's one or more of those energy zones that are blocked. So we're going to look at that tonight, and I'll do a group clearing of those as well. The other thing that I'm going to do is actually use the energy of 10 to 12 crystals, and I put them in a grid on or near the midline of the body. And again, when I work remotely with clients, I do this all the time. So even though you're remote online right now, I'll still be able to do that. The other thing I'll do is when we're finished, I will do a second clearing of your energy system, because a lot of times what we do is we release that which is no longer serving us. But if we don't release it from the outer layers, we have our inner energetic layer and our outer energetic layer, our exterior. And so if we don't release whatever was released out of the inner area of our energy field, we tend to get triggered and we go back to that same energy that's still there as our default pattern. And we don't want to do that. So I'll clear that as well. And then I'll also ground your physical body so that when you do get up and you do start to walk and move around, your head isn't sort of woozy and you're not feeling like you're out of your body still. When I am doing one-on-one, without the group, I am typically relaying spiritual messages that may come through. Again, tonight's going to be a little bit difficult. If there's anything that does come through for someone specific, I'm going to write it down and I will get back in touch with you. But for tonight, that's probably going to be a little bit less of something that may happen. The next thing is when we do core issue identification, we're locating those core issues or those repetitive patterns that are keeping you stuck, and we're releasing them and replacing them with what it is you want. And again, with so many people, we're not able to do that. That's more of a one-on-one session, but the rest we will be doing. So just a reminder that even though that we won't be doing the core issue work, we won't be delivering certain messages to individuals. If you are open to it, if you are comfortable with it, you are very welcome to ask your loved ones who may have crossed, or your guides, if that's something that you believe in, that are here to help guide you through this lifetime or this transition, whatever it is that you may be going through. Offer them to come in and to help you with it. Anytime that I do anything like this, I am always working with protection. I always set up a sacred space before I do this, and I have as well tonight, so don't worry about that. So when I do work, I am working with the 7 major chakras during a D term, so a Dawn and Tem energy rebalancing method session. And there are more than 7 major chakras, but those are the ones that I work with. And of all 7, all of them originate from the spinal column, except for the crown chakra and then the root chakra from your pelvis down. And they actually originate front and back. So you have the front of your heart chakra and the back of your heart chakra, the front of your throat chakra, the back of your throat chakra. So they again are what create your energy field, and they're also your vital life force. So you want to make sure that they're in good condition, and we're going to do that tonight. And as I mentioned earlier, the chakras create our internal and our external energy field. So where they're created, and then within the body is your internal energy field, and then they emanate about, probably arm's length around you, and that's your external energy field. So because I'm able to perceive energy, and I won't get into, exactly what I do. I am clairvoyant, so I can see things. I am clairaudient, so I can hear things, and I'm clairsentient, so I can definitely feel them. Sometimes claircognizant, I just know things. My perception of what your chakras look like is much like a badminton birdie here. And except that little rubber piece on the bottom is not there. So it's a smaller opening on one end and a larger opening on the other end. And depending on what's happened with you, how you're feeling, any blockages or any traumas that you've experienced, typically what happens is you've got a nice netting that goes around the chakra. And that's what I see when it's in balance. When it's imbalanced and there's been trauma, sometimes the actual netting is folded over, or it may be over to one side, or it may be too large or too small. So those are things that I also work with, and we'll work with that tonight to get them back into balance. This is something that I do when I teach in my online practitioner training course and my conscious living course. And this is basically, if you go from each toe, and I don't know if you can see that because of this, so I'll move this over. But if you go from each toe and you do a straight line up and then up and around the head and back down through your arms to each finger, from each toe to each finger, as you can see here. Those are the energy zones that I'm actually working with. And so I will be working with those tonight during this group energy rebalancing, and I'll be clearing those. And it'll be interesting to see what you actually feel as we go along. Okay, so what you could expect. So during the energy rebalancing session, you might be relaxed, you might feel a warmth in an area of the body, even maybe a cool breeze, because when energy starts to move, there can be like a cool breeze that happens. A rushing sensation down a limb. You can see if your eyes are closed and you're comfortable, you might see various colors, you might see various images in your mind's eye. You might all of a sudden feel tingling in your hands or your feet. Those are all common things, or you might feel absolutely nothing, and that's okay as well. So after the energy rebalancing session, and I decided that I wanted to tell you about this now because I'm hoping that once we get into the actual energy rebalancing session, that you are able to completely relax. And when this is done, instead of me chatting up a storm and saying, okay, now, you'll instead be able to just click me off and relax, maybe fall asleep, maybe whatever it is you need to do, maybe continue with wherever you're at in that session or in the meditation, whatever you may be. So after the energy rebalancing session, you might have a physical sense of relaxation that just continues. You might be tired for the next, 24 to 48 hours. You may have more clarity of thinking. You have awareness of alternate patterns of behavior. Like all of a sudden you're like, geez, I usually react in this way and I haven't. And that's a good thing. Improved sleep. You may be emotional for 24 to 48 hours and that's okay, because what we're doing is we're changing your blueprint of your body. And as we change the blueprint of your body, your energy field, it has to release all of those old things that are lower vibrations and don't align with it anymore. So just let it go. Drink plenty of water, relax, whatever you need to do. And you might feel off for 24 to 48 hours, and that's okay. And then hopefully the goal is after that, you're really going to start to feel a sense of feeling better and, more at ease. That's our goal. So you'll hear me talking about the logical mind versus mind's eye. And so what that is your logical mind is just that mind that is constantly thinking. It wants to figure it out. It wants to know the answers. It wants to be in control. And there's a time and a place for that. And then there's a time and a place for the mind's eye. And that is a place where you're open, you're receptive, you're sort of bypassing that logical mind. And people are always, that's a struggle for a lot of people. And it is for me as well. But one of the things that I always tell people is, they're like, I can't shut off my logical mind. It just keeps coming back. Or I don't know, is this my logical mind? And so basically, what I tell people is, don't worry about it. Set an intention that logical mind that's constantly thinking, just step aside. Just for the time that we're working together tonight. And then if it wants to come back and talk to you all day long or tell you things that you need to hear or you feel you need to hear, let it happen. But for now, just put that logical mind aside and then we'll see in your mind's eye if you're comfortable with that, and I'll lead you through that. So hopefully that's a lot of good information for you, and we will now begin. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I would like to shut off my camera. I won't mute myself because you're going to need to hear me, but I will shut off my camera, and that way you can listen to the music and you can look at a picture if you want to, and you don't have to see me in the corner sort of being distracting. So I will do that now, and let me move forward here. Here is your picture. Again, you do not have to actually be looking at this. You want to close your eyes, that's perfect. But I will begin the music. The only thing I want to warn you is it may come on and it may come on loud. So before we get into it, you may want to be able to just sort of put down your volume, adjust it. I won't talk for the first couple seconds because the music starts quiet and does get a little bit louder. So here we go.